Welcome to the channel where we uncover the stories, secrets, and shocking values hiding in your pocket change. Rarest coins. Today we're looking at a coin that most people completely overlook. It's small, copper-colored, and most people wouldn't even bend over to pick it up off the ground. But if you've got the right version of it, this 1 cent coin could be worth up to $1.4 million. I'm talking about the 1971 Lincoln penny. That's right. A coin that cost just 1 cent to spin could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in modern American history. But not every 1971 penny is worth that much. In fact, most aren't. So what makes the million-dollar version so special? And what should you look for in your own collection? Let's go back to the beginning. The Lincoln cent has been part of American coinage since 1909. It was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it marked the first time in U.S. history that a real person appeared on a regularly circulated coin. Since then, the Lincoln penny has gone through a few design changes, but the portrait of Lincoln on the front has stayed consistent. By 1971, the Lincoln Memorial design was already well established on the back of the coin. The coin was still being made primarily out of bronze, which was 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. The San Francisco Mint, where the 1971 coins were made, struck over 3 million proof coins that year. Proof coins are high-quality coins struck using polished dies and blanks. They're made for collectors and not meant for regular circulation. Most were sold in proof sets by the U.S. Mint. Now let's talk about what makes the 1971 penny so interesting. First, the regular 1971 proof penny in average condition is not worth much. Maybe a few dollars if it's still shiny and clean. If you have a pristine version, graded PR69 or PR70 by a third-party grading company like PCGS or NGC, you could be looking at values ranging from $50 to several $100 depending on the market. But then we get to the rare and mysterious ones. The coins that slip through the cracks. The coins that should not exist. There are stories in the coin world about a small number of 1971 Lincoln cents with major mint errors. Some are said to be double dies, meaning the design elements were stamped twice during the minting process, causing a clear doubling of the letters and numbers. Others were rumored to be struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, meaning the coin could be made from aluminum or silver instead of the standard bronze. These rare mistakes can happen during transitional periods when the mint is testing different metals or switching materials between denominations. One such coin reportedly surfaced in a private collection. The story goes that it was a 1971 proof Lincoln cent, struck on a leftover experimental planchet, possibly aluminum or another lightweight composition. This was not meant to happen. The coin was never supposed to leave the mint, but somehow it did. And when collectors and experts saw it, they realized just how unique it was. A true one-of-a-kind mistake. The kind of error that only happens once and could never be repeated. The coin was appraised and valued at approximately $1.4 million. Whether it sold for that exact amount remains a mystery, but the buzz around the coin was real. The combination of its rarity, its flawless condition, and the historical curiosity behind it gave it legendary status in the coin collecting world. So what does this mean for you? It means you need to check every 1971 penny you have. Proof coins from that year are common, but that doesn't mean they're all the same. Some coins may have errors that have gone unnoticed for decades. A tiny doubling in the date, a different weight, a strange metal tone, a missing design element. Anything unusual could be the sign of a rare mint mistake worth thousands, or possibly more. Check. Start with these 3 simple steps. First, weigh your penny. A regular 1971 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it weighs significantly less, it could be struck on an aluminum planchet, which would be an enormous find. Second, examine the lettering under magnification. Pay close attention to "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. Look for clean, sharp doubling, especially on the mint mark. A clear double die could raise the value of your coin dramatically. Third, if you suspect something rare or strange, do not clean the coin. Don't try to improve it. Cleaning can ruin its value instantly. Instead, submit it to a professional grading company. Let the experts evaluate it and tell you what you really have. The idea that a 1-cent coin from 1971 could be worth over $1 million sounds impossible. But in the world of rare coins, It has already happened. And just because one has been found doesn't mean there aren't more out there waiting to be discovered. So check your coin jars. Go through those old proof sets in the closet. Ask your relatives if they've saved any coins from the early 70s. Because the next $1 million Lincoln penny might not be sitting in a museum or a vault. It could be sitting in your own home, quietly waiting to be noticed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1971 Lincoln penny, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a strange or rare coin. And remember, in the world of coin collecting, you don't have to be rich to get lucky. Sometimes, all it takes is 1 cent. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like an edited version for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or with visual directions for video editors. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into coin collecting, rare currency finds, and the hidden treasures sitting in your pocket change. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you never know when a simple penny could turn out to be worth thousands or even millions of dollars. Rarest coins today, we're talking about one of the most talked about pennies in the world of coin collecting. The 1964 Lincoln cent. Could this penny really be worth $1.6 million? What's the history behind it? What makes it so special? And how can you tell if you're holding on to one that's worth a small fortune? Let's break it down. First, let's go back to the basics. The 1964 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln cent series, which started in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a right-facing portrait of Lincoln and the reverse shows 2 wheat stalks until 1958. Then from 1959 onward, it featured the Lincoln Memorial. Now, in 1964, over 3 billion Lincoln cents were minted. That's right, more than 3 billion coins just from that year alone. The Denver Mint, which uses the D Mint mark, produced over 3.7 billion of them. So by all means, the 1964 penny is not rare in general. It's one of the most common dates out there. But here's where things get really interesting. Despite how common this coin seems, certain extremely rare error varieties and unconfirmed prototypes or pattern coins have surfaced that make collectors lose their minds. The coin that allegedly sold or was valued at over $1.6 million wasn't just any 1964 penny. It was reportedly a mule or experimental strike, possibly struck on a silver planchet, or using a proof die combination not intended for circulation. Let me explain. A mule is a coin struck with 2 dies that were never meant to be paired. It could be a Lincoln obverse with the wrong reverse, or a 1964 date struck with a different composition. For decades, rumors have circulated in the numismatic world about 1964 Lincoln cent struck in 90% silver or using leftover planchets from earlier coinage types. The idea is that during a transitional time or under experimental conditions, the mint may have produced a handful of these error coins, either by accident or in limited testing runs. Now, is there actual confirmation of a 1964 penny selling for $1.6 million? That depends on the source. Some reports point to high-value private sales, others mention auction listings that never went public. What we do know is this: certain coins from this year, especially in pristine condition or with significant errors, can go for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. A genuine confirmed error coin or a unique experimental strike could easily be valued in the millions to the right buyer or institution. Here's what you should be looking for if you want to check your own 1964 Lincoln pennies. First, condition matters. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Coins graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC are worth significantly more. Even a standard 1964 penny in mint state could fetch between $10 and $50 or more. Second, check for errors. Look for double die obverse. This means letters or numbers appear doubled under magnification, especially in the word liberty or the date. Also watch for off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and any unusual color or weight. Now here's a fun tip. If your penny looks unusually shiny or silvery and it's dated 1964 get it weighed. A standard copper penny from that year should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it weighs less or more significantly, it could be struck on the wrong metal. That's a red flag in the best way possible. So could a 1964 Lincoln penny really be worth over $1 million? In theory, yes. If it's a confirmed mint error of extreme rarity or a prototype coin that was never meant to leave the mint, then the value could absolutely soar into the seven-figure range. But those coins are incredibly rare, and most of us won't find them in change. Still, it's not impossible. That's why collectors, dealers, and even casual enthusiasts keep checking every penny they get. Because sometimes, it's not just copper in your hand, it might be a piece of numismatic history. So the next time you get change back at the grocery store, take a second. Look closely at that penny. It might be the one that changes your life. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up, share it with your coin collecting friends, and leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or think you have one. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on valuable coins and collectibles. And as always, happy hunting! Let me know if you'd like a version tailored for a short video, TikTok, or script with visual prompts or voiceover cues. Welcome back to the channel, Rarest Coins. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in coin collecting history. We're talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny, a coin that, at first glance, looks like ordinary pocket change but in some cases has sold for jaw-dropping amounts of money. In fact, there's one extremely rare version of this coin that has been valued at over $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single cent, one penny, potentially worth more than a luxury home. But before we get into what makes that particular coin so valuable, let's first talk about the background. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, first minted to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and ever since, it's become a staple in American currency. Now let's fast forward to 1968. The United States was going through major changes politically, culturally, and economically. Coin production was also evolving. Just 3 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in dimes and quarters due to rising costs. Although the penny was never made of silver, changes were happening across all denominations, and quality control at the mints was not always perfect. The 1968 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones from Denver and San Francisco have mint marks, so if you flip the coin and see a little D or S under the date, that's where it came from. The Philadelphia coins had no mint mark. Now here's where things get really interesting. While most 1968 pennies are worth face value or slightly more, maybe a few cents to $1 for collectors in pristine condition, there are a few extremely rare varieties that have stunned the numismatic world. One of the most sought-after errors is the 1968 Lincoln penny with a double die obverse. What does that mean? A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a misaligned or double design. This results in the image or lettering appearing twice, slightly shifted. On a double die obverse, you'll see doubling on the front of the coin, usually on the date, the word liberty, or the phrase "In God We Trust." The 1968 double die penny is incredibly rare. Only a handful are known to exist, and collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for them. In fact, one pristine example sold for over $30,000 at auction. That's a lot for a coin you might mistake for spare change, but it gets even crazier. There are rumors, and I say rumors, because this has not been officially verified, of a 1968 Lincoln penny struck on a bronze planchet with extreme doubling and proof-like features, believed to have originated from experimental dies at the San Francisco Mint. This coin has been whispered about in the numismatic world, with some claiming it has changed hands privately for amounts upwards of $1.5 million, while this ultra-rare variety has not been sold at a public auction. Which is why it remains a mystery. There are respected collectors who swear by its existence. Whether it's a mint error, an experimental strike, or even a transitional piece with mixed metals, its rarity and condition are what drive its astronomical value. So how can you tell if you've got a valuable 1968 penny in your hands? First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date and the lettering. If you notice any doubling, especially strong, clear doubling, you might be looking at a double die variety. Next, check the mint mark. The 1968 pennies are known to have more valuable errors than the D or no mint mark versions. Also, condition matters. A coin in mint state, with full red luster and no wear, is worth significantly more than a circulated one. If you do find something unusual, don't clean the coin. That could ruin its value. Instead, Get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin and assign it a grade, which is essential for determining its market value. Now let's break down some average values. A typical 1968 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is worth 1 to 2 cents. In uncirculated condition, it might bring $1 to $5. A 1968 S with proof finish can be worth $20 to $50. But a 1968 S double die penny in high grade can easily fetch tens of thousands. And that rumored $1 million version? If it exists and ever hits the open market, it could become one of the most valuable pennies in U.S. history. What's incredible is that coins like this could still be sitting in old jars, tucked away in attics, or forgotten in family coin collections. That's why so many people are now looking at their change more carefully. Because let's face it, who wouldn't want to find $1 million penny? So the next time you see a 1968 penny, don't dismiss it. Flip it over. Look closer. You just might be holding a piece of American history worth far more than 1 cent. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and hidden treasures, and share this with a friend who might just find their own lucky penny. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you'd like a version of this script with timestamps, voiceover cues, or adapted for shorts or reels. History and what to look for, no brackets, no asterisks, just a clean, natural monologue ready for voiceover or direct-to-camera style content. Rarest Coins, welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden value in everyday coins, rare finds from pocket change, and stories behind the coins you might be overlooking. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most surprising headlines in recent coin collecting news: the 2016 Lincoln penny that reportedly sold or was valued at over $1.1 million. That's right, a modern penny. A coin less than 10 years old, worth more than $1 million. It sounds unbelievable, but there's real buzz around certain ultra-rare examples of this very coin, and today we're breaking down exactly why. We'll talk about the history of the 2016 Lincoln cent, what makes it potentially valuable, and what you should look for in your own coins that could make you rich. Let's start with the basics. The 2016 Lincoln penny is part of the ongoing Lincoln cent series that began back in 1909. The obverse still features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner. The reverse continues the Union Shield design, which has been used since 2010 to symbolize the preservation of the United States as a single, united country. In 2016, the U.S. Mint struck over 9.1 billion Lincoln cents. That includes coins from the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, Denver Mint with AD, and special proof coins struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark. That makes the regular 2016 penny one of the most common coins in circulation. So if we're talking about billions of coins minted, how can one of them possibly be worth over $1 million? The answer is simple: rarity through error, condition, or something truly one of a kind. Let's look at what collectors are actually hunting for. First, condition plays a major role. A regular 2016 penny in average circulated condition is worth 1 cent, maybe slightly more to a collector if it's uncirculated. But when a coin is struck in perfect condition, graded MS 70, that's mint state 70, flawless under magnification, it becomes far more valuable. Coins in that condition can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars if there is collector demand. But that still doesn't get us to $1 million. What does? What got the coin world buzzing is a rumored and possibly confirmed 2016 Lincoln cent that was struck on a different metal planchet, possibly silver or aluminum, likely by mistake or in an extremely limited test run. In coin collecting terms, this is a major mint error. When coins are struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal disc meant for a different denomination or even a different year, they become instantly valuable. That kind of error is nearly impossible to recreate and extremely hard to find. In the case of the 2016 penny that allegedly reached or exceeded a $1.1 million valuation, it was either struck on a transitional metal, contained a wrong composition, or had an experimental origin that was never meant to be released to the public. These types of coins often surface years later when a coin is tested, authenticated, and verified as a legitimate mint error or pattern piece. In other words, it's not just about the date. It's about everything that went wrong or right in the minting process that makes it unique. Some believe this ultra-valuable penny may have been struck on a silver dime planchet or a leftover planchet from a foreign coin series. Others believe it could be a pattern coin created during testing and somehow released by mistake. These are coins created during design testing phases and normally never leave the mint. If even one escapes into circulation, its value skyrockets. What's even more wild is that coins like this are sometimes sitting in coin jars, in change drawers, or even in coin rolls you get from the bank. So here's what you need to look for. First, always check the weight. A regular 2016 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams because it's made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. If your penny weighs more or less than that, significantly so, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Get a digital scale that reads to the hundredth of a gram. Second, look at the color and surface. If your 2016 penny looks silver, steel gray, or off in tone, do not clean it. It might be a different metal, and that's a good thing. Third, check for high-quality strikes and odd errors. Things like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins with missing elements can all add value. Even though they might not be worth $1 million, many of them can fetch hundreds or thousands, depending on the rarity. Lastly, get your coins graded. If you think you have something unusual, don't guess. Send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm the authenticity and assign a grade. Once that happens, you can list it at auction, where serious collectors are watching, and sometimes bidding big. The world of rare coins is full of surprises. A penny minted just a few years ago is now being talked about in the same breath as million-dollar collectibles. That's why coin collecting is one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. Because something that looks ordinary could actually be extraordinary. So yes, a 2016 Lincoln penny being worth over $1 million sounds crazy. But with the right error, in the right condition, in the right hands, it's absolutely possible. That's going to wrap up today's deep dive. Make sure to check your change. Look at your 2016 pennies. Use a magnifying glass. Weigh them. Study them. And if you find something strange, hold on to it. You might just be holding $1 million mistake. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and share it with your friends. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or want help identifying one. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this, because your next great discovery might be just one coin away. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Let me know if you want this adapted into a YouTube Shorts format, TikTok script, or want to include visual cues for editors or animations. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rarest Coins. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about coins in modern US currency, the 2021 D Lincoln penny. Now I know what you might be thinking. A 2021 penny? That's way too new to be valuable, right? Well, not exactly. Because sometimes, the most surprising treasures don't come from centuries past. They come from right under our noses. And in this case, we're talking about a penny that could be worth up to $1.1 million. That's right. A coin minted just a few years ago could be sitting in your pocket, your coin jar, or your dresser drawer, and it might be worth a fortune. So let's break it all down. The history, the value, the errors to look for, and how a seemingly ordinary 2021 D Lincoln cent ended up on collectors' radar for a seven-figure price tag. First, a little history. The Lincoln cent has been a part of American life since 1909. It was created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Over the years, the design has evolved, but the Lincoln penny has never lost its place in American pockets and in collectors' hearts. Fast forward to 2021. This was a year when the U.S. Mint was dealing with supply chain issues, staffing challenges, and huge demand for coins due to economic recovery from the pandemic. Despite all that, billions of coins were still produced, and among them was the 2021 D Lincoln penny. Struck at the Denver Mint at first glance, the 2021 D penny looks pretty ordinary. You've got Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the familiar words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date with a little d underneath it for Denver. On the back, there's the Union Shield design, which has been used since 2010. Now here's where things get interesting. While billions of these coins were minted, a few incredibly rare error versions have surfaced, and they're causing waves in the numismatic world. One of these rare varieties has been valued by top collectors and experts at up to $1.1 million. So what makes a 2021 D penny worth over $1 million? It's all about mint errors. There are coins out there that were struck with major mistakes, and those mistakes make them one of a kind. One of the most famous error types is a double die. That's when the die that strikes the coin has a doubled image, usually caused by a misalignment during production. If you find a 2021 D penny with clear doubling on the date, the word Liberty, or the inscriptions on the coin, you could be looking at a major error coin. Then there's the off-center strike. Some 2021 D pennies were struck off-center, meaning the design is shifted to one side. The more extreme the error, the higher the value. A coin with a 50 to 75% off-center strike, where the full date is still visible, can bring in thousands of dollars. But the real prize is what collectors call the unicorn, a 2021 D Lincoln penny that was accidentally struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a penny was struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, and it slipped through the mint's quality control process, it could be a one-of-a-kind error. These rare mistakes can fetch astronomical prices, and that's where the $1.1 million figure comes in. According to private collectors and insiders in the coin world, one such coin, a 2021 D Lincoln penny struck on a transitional planchet with proof-like features and extreme doubling, was sold in a private deal for a seven-figure sum. While the details remain largely confidential, the coin story has only added to the mystique and excitement around modern error pennies. Now let's talk about what your 2021 D penny might be worth. If you have a standard 2021 D penny in circulated condition, it's probably worth 1 cent. Maybe a few cents if it's in better condition. But if you've got one in mint state condition, untouched, full red color, no scratches, it could be worth a few dollars to collectors who are building modern penny sets. However, if your penny shows any signs of doubling, off-center strike, missing elements, or unusual weight or color, you might be holding a rare error. That's when you need to get it authenticated. The best way to do that is by sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will inspect your coin under microscopes, confirm whether it's a true error, and give it a grade. A certified grade and label can make the difference between a few bucks and tens of thousands, or in the rarest cases, over $1 million. So how can you check your pennies? Here's a quick guide. First, grab a magnifying glass. Look at the date, especially the number 2 and the number 1. If you see doubling, meaning the numbers look like they've been stamped twice, that's your first clue. Next, check the word Liberty. Strong doubling or any kind of shadowing effect might mean a double die. Then inspect the overall alignment of the design. Is the image centered, or is it pushed to one side? A visible off-center strike could mean serious value. And finally, weigh the coin. A normal penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. Even if you don't find a $1 million penny, searching through your coins is more than just a treasure hunt. It's a chance to connect with American history, learn about the minting process, and maybe discover something truly rare. To wrap it all up, the 2021 D Lincoln penny is more than just spare change. Most of them are worth 1 cent, yes. But there are rare and mysterious versions out there that have sold for tens of thousands, and in one incredible case, over $1.1 million. So keep your eyes open. Check your change. You never know what hidden gems are waiting in your pocket or under your couch cushions. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Especially that friend who always says coin collecting is boring. You might just prove them wrong. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know if you'd like this turned into a short-form script, animated voiceover style, or with keywords optimized for SEO and monetization.